Hi everyone, astronomers, amateur astronomers, anybody that likes to look in the sky and try to figure out how this wonderful universe operates. And I made a couple videos explaining how the evolution of Earth came to be. And I explained how it had to come from a gas giant. And the reason I said that was to make a molten core, we need millions of pounds of pressure. And where are we going to find that? Inside a gas giant. Where are we going to get the water from? Well, we need all that hydrogen gas that's in a gas giant. So I started thinking, we really need to look at Jupiter as our example. See, Jupiter, it revolves just outside of Mars orbit, and it has a ginormous magnetic field around it already. And the scientists all say, well, maybe it's molten hydrogen. Well, come on, we know better. But we do know asteroids are primarily iron. So that iron gets collected into Jupiter, has already gone into the center of Jupiter, and it's been compressed until it's molten. And the neat thing about hydrogen, obviously, when they talk about water, it has a surface tension. You hit water really hard with a hammer, it acts like concrete. Throw the hammer in the water, it simply drops into the water. It has to come from the hydrogen gas, the hydrogen atom. The reason I say that is, several years back, when an asteroid, NASA videoed it going all the way and striking into Jupiter, it broke into hundreds and hundreds of pieces. So obviously when it hit that gas, that giant, hit that surface tension, it shattered it. This is by design, think about it. You need to get the iron away from the rocks. How do you do that? You knock it loose, just like a crusher would. All that iron is already gone to the center of Jupiter. It's already molten. And Jupiter spins like crazy, so it's spinning that molten iron and creates a magnetic field that we use here on Earth today. So if you look at Jupiter, it's starting to evolve into a planet like Earth. And now think about this for a few seconds longer, right? Jupiter, when it creates a planet, it might already have a pretty good sized planet already inside of it. Now we don't really know. We can't look into the gas field at all. But it's going to be a spinning mass. It already has the moons around it it's going to need for Earth like we have. Think about that for a second. Jupiter's outside of Mars, so you think, well, it's going to be extremely cold and it's going to be a frozen ball of ice when it finally evolves. Well, yeah, but this sun, like all the experts say, in millions of years is going to create and then turn into a giant red star when it starts losing its gravitational pull. When that happens, it's going to wipe out Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So now when it's big enough and it's created this giant red star, who's going to be in the Goldilocks zone? Jupiter. So as this is happening and evolving, we already know how to do space travel a little bit. We're going to start packing up and moving to Jupiter. We'll have to. But we only need to bring the seeds of plants and reseed the whole planet. Fish eggs, get the fish growing in the planet. Animals, and then we only can freeze embryos. So we go over there and start the animal life, and then we can start putting on ourselves on our own Noah's Ark and heading for Jupiter. Think about that for a second. And now it's looking at all the alien theories and all the aliens saying, well, is there aliens actually visiting this planet? Well, we know there's millions of planets just like Earth out there because they all evolved the same way from a gas giant like my other videos have mentioned. And I thought, well, if any aliens were ever to show up on this planet, it would have to be a pretty ginormous spaceship because you're going to have to carry a lot of supplies to go anywhere. But we keep seeing these objects like spaceships that are tiny showing up here, right? And does that make any sense? Well, actually, it does make sense. If they have created the wormhole technology we speak of, you could go from one point to another pretty dang instantaneously, whereas a ship, even past the speed of light, would take years and years, hundreds, thousands of years to get anywhere. But to open a wormhole, it would probably take a lot of energy, and it's going to be a tiny wormhole, so you're going to only get a small ship through something like that, right? And so most of these things that probably come here are usually probably not people inside of them. It's probably robotic instrumentation, telemetry, and they all come here, see what's going on, and take the information back. That's how we operate. That's what we would do. So anyway, Jupiter will be a planet just like Earth. If you watch my other videos, you'll see how I describe it. And all the volcanoes create the CO2. The CO2 gets in the atmosphere. The pressure is going to strip that carbon right off that CO2. The oxygen is going to react with the hydrogen, create water, start a huge cloud around that planet. So it's going to start raining, and the rain and rain. And when the clouds form, we're going to have all the lightning strikes, creating the ozone layer we have today. All this is tough. It's all evolution. And with 12 billion years of people getting way ahead of us, there's got to be a whole lot of life out there and a whole lot more to see. And they're going to be out looking like we are now. So when we start, like I said, when we start knowing how to look for a planet like Earth, we're going to find a lot of them out there. So this is Dave. That's my ideas. Thanks a lot.